The time is now 5:52, and the date is September 24th, 2023. 2024? What year are we in? 2024, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm like, wait a minute. The
it
date is
happens.
Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. This meeting is virtual only, and I will open the meeting and take a roll call. Jada,
Yes.
Heath,
Aye.
and Megan is here as well. Please note we are doing a virtual meeting. If a member of the virtual public would like to make comments during a public hearing, please use the raise hand function on Zoom, and you will be assigned a speaking time. If you are listening in via telephone dial-in, please press *9 to raise your hands and then press *6 to unmute yourself. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene, and a record of this meeting will be posted on the local scene website as soon as they are able. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Okay. Seeing nothing, the meeting is open, and on my agenda, the first thing is updates, member recruitment. Do we have a new member?
Nothing yet. I did have someone reach out today, actually, though, who was interested in an application. So I'm going to send that over to them. I'm not sure if they got the Heath's meeting announcement last night, but maybe if you want to provide an update on that, Heath.
Yeah, I sent a blurb about open space for the purposes of recruitment, directing people to contact the office, to the town administrator, and the chairman of the board of selectmen, and the chairman, Eric Crone, replied back and said he would read it during tonight's meeting. So they're going to start in about 4 minutes. So within the next 10 to 15 minutes, it'll probably be read during announcements.
Nice. I for some reason I thought their meeting was yesterday, but I guess it was just a coincidence this person reached out today. So I'll be in touch with them.
I would kind of keep tabs on or tracking where they come from, because if this person doesn't work out, or at most they're only going to fill one of the two positions, right? If you got a whole bunch and we found out they were from the announcing it during a selectmen's meeting, that'd be good to keep in mind for future recruitment. If this doesn't work, we can try again in a few weeks. Maybe pick an agenda night when there's a big agenda for the selectmen, and there's gonna be a lot of people in the room and watching. Of course, the other thing to do is keep plugging away at Facebook if we can do that too.
Yeah, I did write it into the dialogue for conservation to announce it at their meetings. Sometimes we don't get a lot of random members of the public, but we can at least announce it until we get positions filled. So
you tend to have like 2 or 3 people at least watching it, and probably a larger amount catching it in the days to follow.
Yeah, and it doesn't take into account who's watching on YouTube. We can't see, so there may be more than
running it on the local scene, the old PAC TV.
Right.
I don't know how often or if at all they get played over there still, but I don't have cable. But there might be something going on.
Anybody who's watching the conservation meetings would definitely, be probably more interested in that. So it's a good start for sure.
Right. I'll try to remember tomorrow night too. You sent out that QR code in an email, right? Like the dialogue. Not too far back.
The dialogue for conservation?
No, for like what to post on Facebook, or like a little blip.
Oh, yeah, I did. I can try to dig it back up and resend it.
No, I probably still have it. I'll go through and look again and try to forward it to Facebook. Don't worry, I'll look.
If you can, let me know, and I'll either resend it or put a new one together.
Okay. Next is intern in DCR update.
Yeah, so we have an intern in the office from Carver High School. He's really great. He's been coming in a lot of days, I think 3 to 4 days a week. And he has been blazing the trails at Camp Nikon. And we finally got DCR to agree to let us do their trails on the state forest side, so that will make a longer trail connectivity network there.
Oh,
So
great.
he's been, yeah, so he did that. And then next I think Matt's gonna get him out of the Hall property to do that. So making good progress since he's been there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think tomorrow too, they're gonna go down to Delano and do some invasive plant stuff there. So yeah, it's been really nice having him around, and getting those trails blazed is a step in the right direction.
Right. Clerk member position / winter break.
Yeah, so this is something I put on there. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but I will be going on maternity leave in January.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. So as I was doing the minutes last time, I remember he mentioned the clerk member position. And I brought it up with Matt, that sometimes, like, if there's not a staff member available, the clerk would take minutes. And Matt said, it's totally up to you guys if y'all want to, revisit that position, or if you just want to take a break over the winter. He said that in Bridgewater, when he was on the open space committee, they would take a break in the summer and just focus on, I guess, like, trail work and just doing the work outside. But I know that these meetings kind of facilitate a lot of that work. So I just put that on the position put that on the agenda as an update. It's kind of up to you guys. And if you choose not to do either one, then there's probably will be money in the budget, since I'll be gone, to have someone in town hall do the minutes. But I just wanted to put that on there for you guys to decide.
Do you have like some type of template that you use for the minutes already? Because I know a lot of your minutes already look, they come out looking all the same, which is great.
Yeah, I kind of use, I have a template that I'll use, and I'll kind of just change, some information in there. But yes, I do.
I don't feel like over the winter there'll be much to do. Depending on access, and depending on access, if we get a lot of snow, then we can't be out there. But if it's a warmer, winter, then we can be out there.
What we could
Yeah,
do for November and December meetings is just make up a property project list, and I don't know that we would need these meetings to tackle it, because we would just coordinate who's available when. That's not an open meeting law violation. And then you just watch the weather, and if you can go ahead as planned, you do it. If you can't, you just say, we'll do it another time. So that's an option.
Right. And there's plenty of time to.
There might be some
that you'll have to decide.
work is actually better to do in the winter. There's, the poison ivy dies back. If it's not a wet winter, some of the standing water may, some of the places might not be an issue. It depends.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. There's enough time between now and then to kind of decide on what needs more work and attention between now and then.
Yeah, in terms of meetings, I'm pretty busy in the winter with my other committee, but I can always make both work, of course. But if we want to go ahead and either this meeting or at the next one, pick a clerk person, I'm willing to go along with that as well.
If you want, I can just keep it as a recurring agenda item for now, and then you kind of think about it, or it's up to you guys.
Definitely keep it on there, and we can revisit it. I'll think about usually Conscom's pretty busy, but it's usually a little slower over the winter. But our schedule is so crazy right now that I don't want to say yes to anything, and regret it later, but definitely keep it on there, so that way we can make sure it's figured out before you're out of office.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a big deal because in terms of like other boards that have a staff doing the minutes, they still appoint a clerk. Not that we would technically have to do this, but you know, with the selectmen, for instance, they have staff doing the minutes, but when they go in executive session, oftentimes the administrative support cannot go in there with them. So one member of the board just happens to be my wife, but it was Sheila Vaughn before that, takes notes during executive session, produces minutes for when they're able to publish those to the public, when whatever they were discussing in executive is no longer needing to be kept privileged. So it's certainly not unheard of for a committee or a board with support staff taking care of the minutes to still have an appointed clerk.
All right. I'll definitely think about that.
Okay, I'll leave it on there for now.
Well, we have to, it's kind of jumping ahead, but we're skipping the October 1st meeting. So then I'm thinking, do we not have a meeting until November? Because then it will be November. So we need some type of idea, or are we going to just reschedule the October one like we did with the September one? I definitely think if we're going to suspend meetings and have a action plan for November, December, even January, November's still usually warm enough, so I think we should definitely have a meeting in November, but we need to definitely get some things together. Because it'll be.
I'm totally holding another meeting in October. I'll just be gone. I just happen to be on vacation that week. But anytime after that, if you want to do it on another Tuesday, I can send an email out and see what works for everyone's schedule.
Okay.
That'd be good, because if we actually do decide that we want to plan multiple options of overwinter activity, you know, should time and weather allow it, we might want to do that over the course of a couple meetings. So if we don't have an October meeting, we'd be under pressure to get that done during November and December.
Yeah.
And that was my thought, and then because before we know it, it'll be November, then it'll be Thanksgiving, then it's Christmas, and then yeah. So definitely please send out an email and we can find a date for rescheduling the October meeting.
Sounds good.
And you all have a new open space property and project plan inventory spreadsheet that you can start using to come up with ideas.
I saw that. I was kind of putzing around. If we want to, we can move to trail work, and it's the action item. Which leads me to, I was looking at it earlier, and the Blackwater needs some attention. We were in there this weekend, and I don't know if everybody knows, but there was a little brush fire in there, and the brush breaker went in there and left a trail where it went through. Some of the paths are blocked with some sizable trees, nothing that, you know, chainsaw or something can't take care of, but it definitely needs some attention to clear the path.
They both got damaged in there. I was talking to the fire chief today.
What
Both
got
of them.
damaged?
One of them got a damaged hinge for one of the doors, and the other one had some like an aluminum diamond plated welded bumper and something else that got cracked right at or beside the weld. The older truck had quite a bit of damage. He said it's one of the worst places for where they can have brush fires in town to access.
I will say this. I feel like they did not take the path of least resistance. We were a little perplexed on why they went the way they did. They also cut down maybe 4 or 5 trees, good size, healthy trees, just where the fire was, it was a very odd spot, definitely hard to access on a hill. In one of the tighter spots in that whole entire property, so I can understand how they got damaged, but I don't understand why they went the way they went either, so,
Hmm.
yeah, it was,
I don't know what the selection criteria for the route in was. There may have just been more obstacles and whatnot on the other side. What I heard was, I didn't know they went through Blackwater. I heard that they were fighting a fire behind Big Y. So that makes me think that's the area where the Scoutland is. Um,
well,
very good.
Scoutland, Big Y, and Blackwater all kind of meet
Yeah.
on one
So that was- I
property.
guess they're thinking that's the only place they could access from. I mean, maybe there were multiple points within Blackwater they could have got to the fire, but they couldn't. I don't think they could have gone up from Big Y, and I don't know if they could have gotten in from the Kingsbury Club. That's kind of on there too. And what's the other place? Town and Country.
I don't know if it would have been easy. I would think, I don't know. So the power lines behind Big Y, I don't know if they can access those from Big Y property, but there is definitely a road behind the Big Y actual store, not like the actual plaza, but I don't know either. I'd have to talk to Matt. I don't know what's on paper, what's written, depending on where a fire might be located. There's definitely easier access from Town and Country. There's definitely easier access from the Blackwater parking lot, but where this was, I don't know. I don't really know. I saw it on Facebook, so I was kind of shocked that we didn't hear more about it, but it's definitely strange. And it just needs help because there's the trails that are mapped out are blocked. So,
What he told me is it's the most narrow place in terms of passages that
yep.
they can go in town. So maybe that's an action item for the future, because generally the fire department is very concerned about how they get in and out of situations. So when you're planning a new road or something, or you're going to adjust a road for construction, development, whatnot, they come out and look and say, if we can't turn an engine or a ladder truck around, you can't build it, right? Like that's one of the things with the post-court 40B they want to put in. I'm sure they would come out and have a look and say, hey, look, if we can just maintain a certain width through here, we would have easier access. It wouldn't have, as long as they were picking and choosing which trees to remove or trim, they wouldn't, I don't know exactly what the outcome of that would be, but I'm sure they can work it out.
Right. I also understand in the case of a fire, they're not concerned about a healthy tree or this. Just get to the fire, put the fire out. But I was a little confused on why they went that way, but again, it's not my call. So, and it very weird spot. I don't know how it started. I don't know if they have any ideas on that. And it was a pretty good surface area. So, but the bonus was there's no camps. We didn't find any, like there was no trash in the area. There was not a bonfire happening. There was not, beer cans and stuff. So really don't know how it started.
Yeah, it's not even really well, maybe it is kind of well, we had that period of dryness. So the rain might just be surface moisture for a lot of the trees. I know a lot of the vegetation on my property is still dried out. So it might not take much. I don't know.
Right. Just a weird spot. Oh.
You go back, get those calendars that the power plant used to send everybody so they can put instructions on how to evacuate if anything ever happened at the Pilgrim generating station. And they had the ones for Kingston with all those pictures from like the late 1890s and early 1900s of Kingston. And if you notice something, except with the occasional decorative tree next to a house or the road, there were no trees in town.
Well,
So
right.
there wasn't much to burn. And if there was something burning, it wasn't difficult to get to it.
Right. Well, I don't know if I can't find my open space OneDrive. So are we able to like go into the OneDrive and like am I able to update it, saying under Blackwater that we need to have some time out there? Do you know?
You should be able to. I'm able to.
I would just encourage everyone to try to, if you're updating, try to keep it in the format that it's kind of in. And if we don't like that, we can always come to a meeting and come to a consensus on what to change it to. Just because it could become something that, you know, I like to say a lot of chefs spoil the stew. You could have somebody who doesn't wrap text and somebody who does, and it creates these huge, massive cells. And some text where the text disappears under the next cell unless you correct for it. And, it would just become unusable if we don't maintain some consistency. So it's the only thing I'm worried about. Those
I have
just examples.
absolutely zero problem if you want to go in and edit, because half of that I didn't understand. I'm not gonna lie. So I have a feeling that I would do something that would absolutely drive you nuts. So I will tell you.
Okay, so
I will not do that.
I'll tell you what right now, because I have to improve my access to it. But so you're saying Blackwater, and then what's the description of what you want to do specifically?
We need to clear the trail.
All right, so just clear the trail.
Yeah.
Clear the trail following
Fire,
Let's-
brush fire.
fire department damage or brush fire damage, whatever.
Right.
And did you say it would require chainsaw?
Yeah, something small, nothing like, I don't know. I can't think of the word, but maybe a chainsaw. Would it need something bigger than a chainsaw, Frank? No, probably not. Something. I mean,
have
that's
a chainsaw, so if nobody else brings one, that's fine. I don't typically go out and chainsaw by myself because of how dangerous the
Right.
chainsaw operation can be. There's got to be somebody else who can call for help or whatever if there's a bloody accident.
right. No, we'll make sure there's enough people. I think it won't be much. All the other trails looked great. There was a few parts that were a little grown in, but nothing that, impassable, but
I'll bring up Matt too. Maybe he can take the intern out there and he can go over like chainsaw safety and him do it, not the intern, while the intern is there.
right. I'll have to send him because I was trying to explain to him where the fire was, and we were on opposite ends, but if you go to walk around the pond, if you go in and you go to the right, you won't be able to, you'll walk right into it. There's a few trees that will clearly cut, just, the stumps are laying there, you have to, and they were too big for us to even pull out of the way, so.
Okay, on the right side. So
Yeah.
I see. Okay. All right, I'll let him know.
Other than that, we haven't been to out. I want to get out to Camp Nikon soon, but. And the other good thing was that there was no encroachment because there is a camp behind Big Y. And there was no encroachment onto the town land. So. Other than that, does anyone else have anything to add to the spreadsheet?
There are some columns about which properties we've been to, how familiar we estimate we are with the properties, what we've observed there. So, if you've, like, I've been to, going off the top of my head, Cranberry Watershed twice, 2 different places. I don't think I crossed over the same places twice. And I think I've probably still only seen maybe like 70% of what I estimate's out there. If that, now, I don't know how useful that information is, but if somebody was, it's like, yeah, I've been through every piece of Hathaway. If I had a question about Hathaway, I could reach out to that person and say, what needs to be done over here or there? What are the points of interest or whatever? So I'm not saying we go through that now. I'm just saying maybe think about that. Just any properties that you've got experience with, any that you don't, look through the list and get out there and check them out. This process of creating this thing has given me a list of to-do items, where to go out and walk around.
You have Blackwater on here twice. One
The one
is,
is the Blackwater Swamp.
okay, that's what I was kind of assuming.
That's the other one out by Opachinsky. I think it may
Yep.
border the Hall property.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know that much about it though. I don't even know if I wrote whether it was a town property or if it was a privately owned conservation space.
That I don't know. I know it's a floating bog, and Dot told me if you step the wrong space, you're going under, and there's a few horses under there.
It's probably why it's not open to the public.
Yep. I've actually been to more of these than I thought I was.
You'll see a column for ownership. I put some of the recreation stuff in there for the sake of this integrated trail system, because even though they're not open space or conservation, if the path system through town goes past them, we want to keep them in consideration. And additionally, same thing with the privately owned, like all the Wildlands Trust properties and so forth.
Right.
I put the ones in there that I knew from memory, but then I found a document online that Matt had written up a year or two ago with the ones that he had noted, so I included those.
Oh, he did. Matt told me yesterday that one of our trails, he called it a trail, and I laughed, is technically ADA compliant,
Yes,
which is Mulligan's Landing, which is a path to a kayak and boat launch, which makes 0 sense to me, but that's great.
Yeah, it's the only ADA compliant quote unquote trail.
Right. That's wild.
probably going to be quite an investment to take a trail and make it ADA, especially considering that one of the factors that probably has to be fairly level or have a barely noticeable grade. And I'm not just thinking about wheelchair access, but anyone with any kind of assisted walking or whatever is probably not going to do very well going uphill or a steep decline.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I provided you guys with an update on this, but we did, just as a side note, when we applied for the ADA trail by the senior center, we did not get that grant, but I got feedback from them, and they said that the grant was scored higher, like pretty high on the list, and then they gave us feedback, come back for next year. And they do prioritize like accessibility. I think all their projects have to be accessible. But they did mention that trying to find funding to do the design and then come back, for them to the construction would put it even at a higher priority of getting funded. So I'm working with the town planner to look into an AARP grant, or if you guys hear about any other funding sources for anything like that. But it would be great to do a mass trails project because they're all about accessibility, and I think that would be a good asset to the town.
That stinks and great. At least they gave you some feedback. So they want you
Yeah.
to present with a bigger project or like a more concrete idea of what you're looking at?
They like the project. They just really prioritize getting these trails built. So they funded a lot of construction projects this go around while we were asking for the design and permitting phase. So they were like, if you can get the design and permitting, or at least the design funded and came back for construction, it's almost certain that they would probably fund it. So that was one of the big key takeaways. I have a couple other notes that aren't in front of me right now, but that was the big one. So we're trying to search for other funding sources for that and hopefully come back next year.
Is that, I'm going to say this, is that something CPC can help with under open space?
I think the property would have to be purchased with CPC funds. We did get Samson for that.
Okay,
and I'm not exactly sure how long you can hold
If-
on to that, or if you can come back the next year. I'm not exactly sure about that, but Sampson Fund could help.
The Sampson
Okay.
funds are quite small in terms of what they allocate to every
right,
they do. The thing is
Yeah,
that if open space is only land, which I don't know that an improvement to an existing open space wouldn't count, but if you think of like recreation, they have specific assets and improvements. And the harbor, which comes under the waterfront committee, got money from CPC to help with the boat ramp because well over 90% of the activity down there is technically recreation. So there could be this way where you say it's for open space, but the activity is recreational.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I mean, I agree that the
It's all
activity
about how
is
you position the argument, you know, and how you present it.
right.
valid. That's actually a really good point. Okay.
Because it is
Yep.
open space property, so it's not really, and it wouldn't be a maintenance. I know you can't do maintenance, but it's not maintenance, it's planning and design for property that's already open space property that is now making way for recreation for our senior community. So hopefully that, I don't know, I'll definitely look into it.
Just design
Yeah,
it
that's-
so it's low maintenance, and so that if it's something we did have to maintain, like I had said at the thing we went to yesterday, Megan, you can do these trails with packed stone dust, which is what Mulligan's did. There
Yep,
are other kinds of aggregate material that if the highway department were ordering it but not using it, all that they ordered during the year, maybe there would be a surplus, or maybe there's a budget item somewhere that would allow for a purchase of a little extra, a few yards of stone dust or gravel or whatever. And in the
Right.
years to come, then you can go out and regrade a little bit. It's not like certain other things where maintenance is a real expense and reoccurring very quickly.
right, this wouldn't, yeah, I agree. Okay, that's definitely something to look into then. Okay. If nobody has anything else for the spreadsheet, we have open forum, which my open forum was Blackwater. Does anyone have anything else for open forum?
I talked too much
I don't.
already.
I think my open forum was just what I just said.
Right. Jada, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, meeting minutes, did everyone review the minutes? I did, they looked great.
I think they did too.
May I suggest an edit? And I'm happy to make a motion based upon the edit.
Sure.
The program I'm looking at this in does not like web page as one word, and it occurs at least twice. So
Okay.
you can either hyphenate it or put a space. I mean, I don't know that anyone's ever going to complain, but it also doesn't like our names or the word OneDrive, but those are all unique. So nothing to do about that.
Okay.
All right.
I will make that.
Accept the meeting minutes for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024 meeting of the Open Space Committee
Second.
with the minutes, of course. I mean, with the edits. Okay.
All right, I'll take a roll call. Jada,
Yes.
Keith,
Aye.
and Megan is an aye.
I will have the August minutes on the next meeting. I haven't forgot about those. But
Okay, this says future meetings cancel the October 1st meeting, which we already kind of went over. You said you were gonna email. And we can find a new date in October.
yes, I will send out an email tomorrow.
And just under the closing remarks, it says Jim here, which makes me laugh. Um, yeah. So
Twice,
if anyone,
roll call.
I'm sorry?
It's on twice. It's also under the roll call for the adjournment
Yeah.
vote.
All right, well, if nobody has anything, I will do the closing remarks and that'll be that.
Go for it.
Actually, I am going to change this because it says the next meeting. Our next meeting is to be determined sometime in October of 2024. The time is now 6:28. Will a member make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I will second. And then roll call, Jada, Heath,
Aye.
and Megan is an aye, and the meeting is closed. Adjourned.